everybody, it's me, GhostCritic, and yes, it's the Christmas edition of the comic book review show. Yippee! And what could potentially be the very last one. No, I'm not going anywhere, but the world might end tomorrow. We don't know. Those Mayans. Yes, it is Christmas, hence the Santa hat comes out, hence a drink. And yes, we're going to delve into Santa's sack this week. We're going to find out who's been on the naughty list and who's been on the nice list. I better just say you are mere hours left to nominate for this year's YouTube Comic Book Community Best of 2012 Awards. Please, if you haven't voted yet, if you've been kind of deliberating over it, it's about time you made your mind up. So, by the time I wake up tomorrow, that will be it. Any more nominations that come in after that will not be counted. And you might have let somebody win that doesn't deserve it. On your head be it. So anyway, get a drink in your hand because I think this one's going to be a long one. Let's get on with it. Cheers. Okay, so on to the naughty list. Honestly, they're not really naughty per se, as in bad. It's just to go along with the whole theme. Some things were better than others this week, let's put it this way. There were niggles, and there's basically reasons these things are on the naughty list. And the first one, I'm very, very loath to put on. And really, it's me that should be on the naughty list and not this comic book. Because I haven't actually read it. It's Fables, issue 124. Now, I love Fables. You know I love Fables. I always tell you to go out and pick up Fables. One of the things I haven't been doing in my reviews is telling you about the backup story that has been tagged on the end of every issue for the last 4 or 5. And this kind of culminates and concludes that kind of backup story. And it's harmed it. I won't lie. And I've skipped bits, skipped chapters out of issues previous, so I honestly don't know what is going on. I think it will work really, really well if read all together, and that's what I'm going to do. But this is one whole big comic, just concluding the Buffkin storyline that's been tagged on the end. From the bits that I have read out the issues, it's funny. That's all I'm going to say. It's funny. So, yes, I'll be getting my old issues out of Fables and reading this all as one big story. And that's all I can really say about that. So, as loath as I am to put it on my naughty list, and really it should be me. This really should be on the naughty list. And much like Minutia Minute, Beardo, Sean, however he wants to have people address him, I'm a stubborn little bugger when it comes to this title. It's not good, but I just love the character and I just keep hoping it'll get better. And it still hasn't, and it really should be. It's Green Lantern, issue number 15. Jeff Johns. Before the 52, he was doing phenomenal work on this title. I was eager to pick up every single issue that came out month after month. Blackest Night, fantastic crossover between the Green Lantern books. Brightest Day, okay, the maxi series wasn't so great, but the tie-ins with the Green Lantern title were good. And then we came to the new 52. And we've got this rise of the Third Army. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's no tension there. There's no foreboding doom. Everyone just seems to be going on as normal. We're still trying to, or Jeff Johns is still trying to develop this Baz character and make him kind of worth our attention, and it just isn't working. It's the kind of age-old story, you know, somebody has been framed for something they didn't do. You've got the agents tracking him, and he's on the run trying to kind of clear his name. And in this title, he goes after the guy who he stole the van from to start with. And action kind of ensues. The Third Army, they make an appearance. We go back again to the Guardians for a page, and it's building up to what? Very disappointed. It's just not doing anything for me. The artwork by Mankey is great. That's really nice to look at least that's something. But the storyline is a bit of a flop. But like I said, I'm a stubborn old mule, and I won't be giving up Green Lantern because I just love the character. Eek. Surprising to see this on the naughty list, and again, this is really for different reasons and more because of what I hear everyone else talking about, because this isn't going to change anyone's opinions about this title. Surprisingly, it's issue 15 of Batwoman. Batwoman. J.H. Williams III. Hayden Blackman. What? You expect great big things. Well, this is certainly a departure. Not particularly a bad one, but for all of those of you who have had enough with the kind of long drawn out storyline, this issue isn't going to change your mind at all. From the last issue, it seemed to be coming to a big climax. We'd had Killer Croc be mutated into that Hydra. Medusa was causing chaos within the streets of Gotham, and Batwoman and Wonder Woman were on the way back to hopefully rain down a world of pain and sort everything out. And you think that's going to happen in the first page. Oh, but no. This is Maggie's story, Batwoman's girlfriend, and how she is coping with the current chaos that is going through Gotham. For those of you who've, and I can't believe you think this, but have had enough of the just fantastic panelling design work from J.H. Williams and Hayden Blackman. I always forget their names. It's a page at the front and a page at the back, which again is primarily the same picture. But in between we have this artist Trevor McCarthy, and his artwork is very conventional in the sense that it is kind of what you would expect from a comic book panelling perspective and story narrative. And like I said, this is Maggie dealing with the chaos that is ensuing throughout Gotham streets, and trying to save the children, trying to save husbands, trying to make sense of it all, making sure that, you know, the humans, I say the humans, the people who live in Gotham, don't make things worse than they already are. It's a good story, but like I said, those of you who want a conclusion to this and to move on, you've got another issue of this to go. So this is kind of naughty, probably on your behalf. This naughty list is full of surprises. I daren't do this. I think people will shout. It's Daredevil, issue 21. Again, it's not really a bad comic. It's Mark Waid on Daredevil, and he's done such a great job in kind of rejuvenating Daredevil and bringing back some nice kind of Silver Agey superheroics, but still giving it that kind of modern sensibility. What we have here in issue 21 is we find out the history of Coyote, how he came about, how he's ensnared, well, seemingly ensnared Spot to do his bidding, and the final escape out of this underground cavern where all these people have been kept headless. And that's all very exciting and climactic, and in a way, for at least for Daredevil, anticlimactic, because he knows that, yes, okay, Coyote's been doing all these things and he's been behind, you know, killing people, removing Mila from the mental institution into his bedroom, and basically messing around with Daredevil's life. But who has been behind Coyote? And we don't find out, Daredevil doesn't find out, and it's bloody annoying. So that's probably something that we, the reader, and Daredevil are going to have to find out later on in issues to come, I would have thought. Matt and Foggy square off big time, and I'd say Matt puts Foggy in his place, and so he rightly should. Foggy has been an absolute arse in this storyline. He's meant to be Matt's best friend, backing him all the way, and should never doubt him. And even at the end of the argument they have, Foggy is still not convinced, which, yeah, Matt was right, just storm out. Just storm out. As I said, a lot of naughty people in this comic. We find out that Matt has been sending Mila quite a lot of letters over her stay in the mental institute, but our naughty doctor has been filing them away. Mila thinks Matt's forgotten all about her. Bad doctor. And then finally we have McDuffie, who has a secret liaison with a certain superior individual. And that doesn't look like it's going very good either. For me, I know you're all huge fans of Samney. I'm getting a bit tired and bored of the artwork now. I'd like a change, please. Maybe it's just because I've been reading a lot of kind of 80s Mazzucchelli Daredevil artwork, and I just love the way he drew Daredevil. This kind of indie hip feel that Chris Samney's got, I think he deserves to be on an independent title. Something that lends more to his style. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just not my thing, at least not here. So there you go, that's my naughty list. So okay then, who made it onto Santa's nice list? What comic books really stood out for me this week? There were plenty of them, and quite frankly they've been on that nice list for quite some time this year. Let us get on with it. It is issue 44 of The Unwritten from Vertigo. Mike Carey and Peter Gross have been doing a great job on this title. I always heartily recommend The Unwritten. And here we have Tommy Taylor making his way through the land of the dead to go and save his girlfriend Lizzie, who he thought was dead. And apparently, if you fall through the kind of doorway, the portal through the lake, and you ingest that water, you forget who you are. The memories are gone for a while. So although Tommy's there, he doesn't even realise what he's actually doing there. He initially meets Cozy and Leon. Cozy and Leon, the two children from the prison storyline when Tommy was incarcerated way back in, I think it was maybe the second or the third story arc of this series. So I came kind of out of the blue to see those there. And basically this is just some like crazy, you know, obviously they're in hell, they're making their way to see King Hades, so there's harpies, there's Cerebus, the three-headed dog that they have to pass, a lake of fire that the boatman of the ferry won't take them over onto, so he's dispatched in a rather inelegant manner, I'd say. And along his travels he keeps meeting people that know him, but obviously with his loss of memory he doesn't know who they are, but clearly these are all people who have died and have been affected through Tom's adventures throughout the series. And eventually they make it to the castle of King Hades, and oh, I should have seen it coming, and it is just a fantastic cliffhanger ending. One of my favourite characters from The Unwritten is on that throne. And it was just a final, last panel that just... oh, brilliant. Like I said, I should have seen it coming. I'm very excited now to continue on with this storyline. There's a kind of side subplot going on with Danny Armitage, who stayed behind in the kind of the Aboriginal desert, keep reading stories because he thinks he's going to be kind of Tommy's way back, so he has to continue to read stories. But I think he's going on a journey of his own, and I'm quite interested to see where that is going to lead to, because we're going into the future with him. Great title. It's had a great year. Much more people should be reading this. Only on issue 2, but it's still a cracker of a read. It's The Indestructible Hulk, issue 2, and this is kind of humorous in the sense of we've got Iron Man who isn't happy that Banner, the Hulk, is now basically an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He doesn't trust Banner. He thinks he's just going to Hulk out and destroy everything, and he's just a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. So there is some very interesting and humorous banter between Banner and Tony Stark, and it's basically Banner showing Tony, I can do stuff for you, and really I'm better than you. So he takes him out into, I think it's the Antarctic, somewhere very remote, to show off one of his latest kind of inventions, but Tony isn't letting up on this, and he just keeps prodding and prodding and prodding, and of course Hulk out, and we get a big Hulk Iron Man smackdown, and Iron Man doesn't really come off that well, and I'm glad, because I don't like Tony Stark or Iron Man. And it's just a great ending where, you know, you have Tony Stark doubting himself, and basically the only thing he can cling on to is, well, I'm rich. Money don't buy you happiness, but it helps. Again, the only thing that is losing me on this is the artwork. I'm sorry, but you really doesn't do the big action scenes very well. Yes, when you've got your characters and they're just talking to each other, that's fine. It looks very good, expression-wise, etc. But as soon as he hits those action panels, it becomes confusing, it becomes murky, the lines are too thick, the colours are just all over the place, and it gets confusing to the reader. So hopefully he's not going to be on this title for long, and we can get some nicer artwork to make this a huge book rather than just a really good book. A story and artwork coming together perfectly, and again, this has been one of my standout series of the year. Whenever I pick up this title, I know I'm gonna have a shed load of fun with it, and that's what comics should be about. I don't want all the serious soul searching all the time. I want a bit of fun, I want a bit of action, I want a bit of kind of cartoon sensibility about it. It is Wolverine and the X-Men, and it's issue 22. We've got the kids of the Academy against the Murder Circus, squaring up well and truly. Some people having better luck than others, and we kind of get the X-title origin of Frankenstein's monster, and we get his true objective of why he is here, and that is to basically stop the lineage of the Frankensteins. And the last descendant of Frankenstein just happens to be one of our Kid Hellfire Club members, and that's Maximilian. So yeah, the X-Men are starting to kind of get their memories back, but well, they're basically giving the kids a run for their money. The artwork by Bradshaw is just fantastic. It's colourful, it's action-packed, it's detailed, it's dynamic, it's fun. It just draws you in and you want to just keep turning over the page. Well, it's kind of like you want to turn over the page, but you just want to check you haven't missed anything. Such a great title, such fun, and that is what comics should be. Please, please go out and get the trades on this. I know it's a $3.99 book, it's expensive, at least it doesn't double ship. At least I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. And it's good. That's all you need to know. Penultimate issue of the week, and I was torn. What am I going to give pick of the week? Well, I'm afraid it wasn't Saga. Saga issue 8, or chapter 8 if you want to call it that, was by no means a bad book. This is a dream of a book. You just turn over the page and you don't know what you are going to get next. Brian K. Vaughan shows us how our two kind of star-crossed lovers first met, Alana and Marco, and I can tell you now, it wasn't love at first sight for sure. So it was nice to have that kind of like little history more of from Alana's perspective, her being kind of like a security guard, and Marco being one of the inmates of this prison. And again, Brian K. Vaughan sprinkles those scenes with just complete weirdness. And anybody who's already read this will know about the creature in that kind of jar, and it's just cutting remark, just had me smiling, laughing, and I'm like, this is just magic. It really is. We cut back to the present, and the relationship, the kind of bonding really of Marco's father and Alana. We were a bit worried at the end of last issue what were Marco's father's, what was his agenda, because he basically put Alana to sleep and seemed to be taking the baby. But he does have a plan before he dies, which hasn't completely been unfolded yet, but I'm sure we'll find out that very soon. Anyone who was completely disgusted by the scrotum picture is going to be even more disgusted in this issue too, because it makes a comeback. He makes a comeback. Marco and his mother, yes, they have a brief face-off with the man of large scrotum. I'm going to just keep saying scrotum. What a great word. Scrotum. I'm going all over the place now. This is how much fun this book is. How imaginative Brian K. Vaughan is. And then again, he hits us right at the end with one of Marco's past paramours, who has been mentioned before. And, well, she's a bounty hunter too. Just a fantastic book. Brian K. Vaughan, Fiona Staples have made this issue, this title, this series, just probably the best thing that has come out of 2012. Hands down. So what could have been better than Saga this week? Well, there was a lot of finality about this issue. It was a very, very fitting ending for this series, I felt. While it's a great, great comic and it deserves Pick of the Week, I'm picking it more because of the whole entirety of its run, because it is the final issue, issue 35, of Uncanny X-Force. Remender has done an absolutely stand-up job on this title, and just made this very kind of dark side of the X universe so enticing, so inviting, so engrossing to read. Here in the final part of the final execution, in its final issue, a lot of finality. It is a case of Remender kind of wrapping things up, disbanding things. Yes, Uncanny X-Force all decide to go their own separate ways. We start with Wolverine at the graveside of his son Daken, and pondering what could have been. You have just the most touching moment from the most unlikely pairing of characters, and that was, of course, Deadpool and Genesis. I had a lump in my throat and I was almost getting ready to pick up a tissue to wipe away like a single teardrop. It was very, very touching between the two of them. Who else? Well, someone who died, well, they come back threefold, and does kind of explain a lot for what's coming up in the new series of Uncanny X-Force. And the issue ends, as it should, with a kiss. Uncanny X-Force, there's been 35 issues. If you didn't bother with it, didn't think it was going to be your thing, it is worth your time. Go and pick up the trades. You'll really, really have a great time with this title. Well done, Remender. I know there's been some brief moments with certain artists that have kind of maybe spoilt the visual aesthetic of the title, but Remender has always written sterling work here. Such a shame it had to end, but Marvel Now came along. And that was your nice list. So that wraps up this final of the year comic book review show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. Just a reminder, tune in tomorrow for what will hopefully be my very first live event with, as I said, a very special guest. And I guess that just leaves me to say, yet again, with feeling, Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you're surrounded by all your loved ones and you have just a wonderful, wonderful time. Take care. Bye.